Hello, welcome to Rando Tech Info, and today we are putting Fossil's Gen 6 series up against Mobvoi's newest wearable, the TicWatch Pro 5, to see which, if either, is worthy of your hard-earned dollar, or euros, or pesos, or whatever. The TicWatch Pro 5 is currently available on Mobvoi's website and on Amazon, comes in one size and color, and will set you back $350. The Fossil Gen 6 series comes in a variety of sizes, colors, and straps, and will set you back anywhere between $172 and $300. For this smartwatch compare, we will be primarily focusing on Fossil's latest Gen 6 release, the Gen 6 Wellness Edition. Because at $177, it is one of the most affordable versions of the Gen 6, and in my opinion also one of the prettiest. Just know that with the exception of the hybrid version of the Gen 6, all of the variants of this watch have the same specs and internals, and after updates are presently running the same version of Wear OS. So most of what I say about this variant of the Gen 6 will apply to all the others as well. I have also done full reviews of both the standard Gen 6 and the Gen 6 Wellness Edition, so if you are interested in either of those, I will leave some links down in the description.
How convenient.
Now, because of the sheer number of Gen 6 SKUs you have to choose from, I do think you have to give the style advantage here to the Fossil. This is not surprising since Fossil has always made some of the best looking wearables in the business. However, the TicWatch is also good looking in its own right. Its black aluminum and fiberglass case has a classic and understated look, which is helped by the rotating crown, a first ever for the TicWatch series. The Gen 6 series also sports a rotating crown, and this is a feature that not only helps both watches look good, but gives you a sweet and easy way to navigate the watch's apps and menus. Both watches also use standard non-proprietary watch straps, so you aren't restricted by first-party offerings. And while both the TicWatch and Gen 6 are on the large size and not the lightest Wear OS devices available, both sit pretty flat on the wrist and are pretty comfortable to wear. The TicWatch Pro 5 packs a 1.43-inch nearly edge-to-edge OLED display, thanks to the physical bezel that sits on top of it. The TicWatch also has a low power display layered over the top of the OLED display. More on that later.
He won't forget that.
The 1.28-inch OLED display of the Gen 6 has no physical bezel, which means the display does stop noticeably before the edge. However, both displays have the same 326 pixel per inch resolution, and both are bright enough to be seen outdoors. And while you would have to say that the physical bezel on the TicWatch would also help with durability, both my original Gen 6 and Gen 6 Wellness Edition's displays still look like new. So the Gorilla Glass on the Gen 6 series does seem to be putting in work. The Tic Pro 5 is also sporting Gorilla Glass, and while neither watch has an official IP rating, the TicWatch does win out in the durability department due to its superior 5 ATM rating compared to the 3 ATM rating of the Gen 6. The TicWatch also has an 810H military standard rating, where the Gen 6 does not. So up to this point, both watches seem pretty evenly matched, and this is the case with a number of other categories and features as well. Both are running similar versions of Wear 3.0, so the UI on both watches feels similar, clean, and stock. Both have a nice variety of watch faces to choose from out of the box, with thousands more to choose from due to their access to the Google Play Store. And speaking of the Play Store, like all other Wear OS devices nowadays, both watches have their own companion app you will need to download to pair the watch to your phone. Both watches are Android agnostic, so you will have access to all features regardless of the device you are paired to.
TicWatch Pro 5 has solid speaker and mic quality, and so does the Fossil Gen 6.
Both watches support NFC for wireless payments, and while the TicWatch's 5.2 Bluetooth connectivity gives it an advantage over the Gen 6's Bluetooth 5.0 on paper, I really couldn't tell a difference in everyday use, as both watches rarely, if ever, dropped connection, and delivered all of my notifications to my wrist quickly and reliably. And last but not least, neither watch supports Google Assistant.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, you heard that correctly. Neither of these Wear OS by Google devices supports Google's own assistant, and yes, that is as dumb as it sounds. This is also rather ironic since for a long time and not that long ago, both OEMs were two of the only manufacturers that supported Google's Assistant on its wearables. But it seems as if both Mobvoi and Fossil's loyalty to the platform has been rewarded with Google playing favorites. Because as of right now, the only watches that have Google Assistant support are Samsung's Galaxy watches and Google's own Pixel Watch. What makes this an even bigger kick in the shorts for both Fossil and Mobvoi is the fact that just 8 months ago, the Pixel Watch didn't even exist, and up until last year, Samsung was still forcing Bixby down its users' throats.
Hi Bixby. What's the safe cooking temperature for chicken?
Do you agree to provide location data to Yelp to process requests?
What?
But since Google has its own smartwatch aspirations and Samsung sells a lot of watches, Google doesn't really seem interested in supporting the brands that kept Wear OS afloat for years.
Oh, chill out. Chill out.
But I digress. One silver lining to be found here is both watches do support Amazon's Alexa, and while I personally don't think Alexa is as good as Google's Assistant, it is definitely better than nothing, at least when it's working, as the Alexa experience on both watches can be a little buggy. And speaking of bugs, let's talk performance, and fair warning, this is the part of the comparo where one of these watches is going to start distancing itself from the other. The TicWatch Pro 5 is the first wearable to utilize Qualcomm's newest wearable SoC, the Snapdragon W5 Plus Gen 1, while the Fossil is running on Qualcomm's previous top-end SoC, the 4100 Plus. And the difference is noticeable. Now understand, performance on the Fossil isn't horrible, as it will be able to do just about everything you ask it to do. It just won't do it as quickly or as smoothly as the TicWatch, which feels as fast and responsive as any Wear OS device I have used to date. Although I have ran into a few bugs on the TicWatch that will hopefully get ironed out at some point down the road. But performance isn't the only place where the new chipset gives the TicWatch an advantage, because we also have to talk about battery life. The TicWatch Pro 5 has the best battery life of any Wear OS device I have ever used, and by a wide margin. Using the raised awake setting with the AMOLED display, I was able to pull over 2 full days of battery life out of the TicWatch. And remember that low power display I said we would talk about later?
Later is now.
Setting that display as the raised to wake display gave me over 4.5 days of battery life with moderate use. And that display has been revamped on the TicWatch Pro 5 and now actually packs in a lot of information, including the date, battery life, steps, and heart rate. There are even different colors available for the backlight, which is a cool touch. Battery life on the Fossil, on the other hand, is a very different story. Even after the latest updates, the Gen 6 can still barely make it 24 hours. And that's with the always-on display turned off and a raise-to-wake timeout of 5 seconds. However, the good news for both of these watches is that charging speeds are good. In my testing, the TicWatch was able to pull a 0 to 72% charge in just 30 minutes, and the Fossil is slightly faster, with it being able to pull an 80% charge in 30 minutes. So depending on your morning wake-up routine, the Fossil might be able to keep the watch going with consistent morning top-offs. But I have another solution for the poor battery life on the Fossil as well, and if you don't care about the health and fitness tracking features of these watches, feel free to skip to that solution using the timestamps below.
Well, that's very nice.
Health tracking and biometrics is another area you have to give an advantage to the TicWatch. The Mobvoi Health app is actually pretty good. All of your standard biometric tracking is here, including steps taken, distance traveled, stairs climbed, and calories burned. And the low power display's backlight actually changes during exercise, so you know at a glance exactly what heart rate zone you're in, which is equal parts gimmicky and cool. You can also check your stress, oxygen saturation, VO2 max, and track your sleep. Although up to this point, I would say the sleep tracking on the TicWatch for me has been a little hit or miss. And you can do a heart health measurement which checks for premature or irregular heartbeats. It's actually a pretty comprehensive package. As for the Fossil, it has most of the same biometric tracking found in the TicWatch, with the most notable features absent being stress tracking and irregular heartbeat detection. Although it does provide you with a somewhat vague cardio fitness rating, which I guess is something. But where the Fossil really misses out is with exercise tracking. The TicWatch has an insane number of exercises to choose from. I mean seriously insane, whereas the Gen 6 has 2. You can, of course, always download third-party apps to assist with your athletic endeavors, but they may or may not be able to take full advantage of the watch's tracking features. However, Alexa can now apparently assist you with your workouts as well. Now, earlier I mentioned that there was another solution for the Gen 6's poor battery life, and before you even consider this option, make sure a solution is even necessary. Because if you aren't going to use the watch for sleep tracking, then none of this battery life nonsense should even probably matter to you, because you can just charge the watch every night while you're asleep. However, if you are interested in the Fossil Gen 6 and using it for sleep tracking, then you can always just get another Fossil Gen 6.
What are you talking about?
At the $177 price point, you can basically pick up 2 Gen 6s for the price of one TicWatch Pro 5. So for example, you can get a more formal looking style for work and events and sport a more casual look for exercise and play. And if the juice gets low, just take that watch off and put on the other. Battery problem solved. And while this may seem like kind of a silly solution, I think it asks a bigger question: is the TicWatch Pro 5 at $350 really that much better than the Gen 6, especially considering most of the features on these watches are similar? Yes, in addition to better battery life, the TicWatch is a bit snappier and it does have more comprehensive fitness and exercise tracking. But performance on the Gen 6 isn't horrible, and I think for a lot of people, the fitness tracking will be adequate. And unlike the TicWatch, the Gen 6 comes in a variety of colors and styles. Objectively, at the end of the day, I do think you have to say the TicWatch is the better overall smartwatch. But But if you're looking for the best bang for your buck and you don't need the specific advantages the TicWatch provides, then I think the Fossil Gen 6 is definitely the better value proposition. Well, that's all the information I have for one day. If you have or wind up picking up either of these wearable options, please feel free to leave your thoughts down in the comments so we can all continue to learn from each other and make more informed buying decisions. As always, I hope you found this video useful. Thank you for watching, and until next time, this is Rando Tech Info, signing out.